Hello everyone. So today I'll be sharing with you the steps I took in making this extra large traveling bag. And here I am using an Ankara fabric to do this. So in order for you to know the measurements you need in taking your traveling bag, the first thing you need to do is that you are going to determine how wide you want it to be. So you are going to be the one that will choose how wide that you want your bag to be. The height and the width, you'll be the one to decide it before you'll be able to get the main body. Okay, so in this particular extra large traveling bag that I'm making, I made this the side gusset. That is the first thing that you are going to take. I made it 16.2 inches by 12.1 inches. So when I am done taking the measurements this way, I cut two pieces of it, and because I am using an Ankara fabric, I ironed gumstay to it. And it's not the light gumstay that I iron to it, I iron the hard gumstay to it. So if you want to make yours, you can do the same thing. But if you can't find the hard gumstay, you can use the light one to do it, but you are going to double it in order for you to get this effect. So when I was done taking the measurements I need, the next thing I did in order for me to get the main body was for me to measure it round. Hope you can see. I measured it this way. I measured it like this, all the way to where I started the measurement from. So here I have 56 inches total. So this 56 inches total that I have, I use it to cut the main body. I hope you can see it. This one, the full length that I have here is 56 inches. 56 inches. I'm going to fold it into two so that you can see it well. So this one is 52 inches. If I'm to measure it all through, you will see that I have 56 inches. 56 inches for the main body. Then the wideness, you are going to be the one to determine how wide you want the bag to be. Remember that this 56 inches is the roundness of the main gusset. So the gusset is going to stand this way. Let me place this one here. It's going to stand this way on the both sides. Hope you can see. So in order for you to get from here to here, you are going to be the one to determine it. For my own, I used 22 inches. So 22 inches by 56. You don't have to add any allowance. The reason is because you are still going to trim this one again. Since you already got the 56 inches, there's no need for you to add an allowance, because by the time you are done trimming it, this one is going to reduce. So that one, in that sense, you are going to use the excess that is going to come out as a sewing allowance. Now let me show you how I'm going to give it a slight curve. For me, I'm going to fold it into two this way to get the middle. So now that I have the middle, I will come down by 2 inches. So these 2 inches, I'm going to give it a slight curve from this top here to that 2 inches that I have. Hope you can see. Then I'm going to gently cut it out. Hope you can see what I have now. So I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So right now I am done cutting, covering the two side gussets. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to, remember I said I iron interfacing to it, a gumstay, the hard one, both the main body. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the lining to it, and I'm not going to add interfacing to that one, but you can decide to add to it if you want. So with me here, you know, Taylor's life, oh, this bag is not for sale, it's for personal use. So I use two different colors of lining, but you have to use a matching color. Okay, so it's because it's for a personal use, that is why I want to use two colors of lining for it. So the first thing I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to sew this one to it. I'm going to place it this way like this, and I will sew it round. So right now I am done lining it. The next thing I did was to notch the bottom part, the middle part of the bottom part, and I took my belt. So I'm going to sew this belt to it. I'm going to take the middle of the belt. I will notch it as well so I could get the midpoint. So after notching it, I will place middle to middle, and I will sew it all the way to the top. That your belt is going to, you are going to cut your belt exactly at where your gusset stops. Hope you can see. Now that I'm done cutting it, I'm going to take my D-ring or square shape and I'm going to place it there. I'm going to put it inside and fold it in, making sure that I'll have 2 inches from here down. So from this point, I'm going to take 2 inches from this point down, and that is where I'm going to, this is going to stop. So I took my main body, this is the main body, and I took my zip cloth. This is zip cloth. You can find it in a bag accessories sellers shop, or even some tailors do sell it as well. So I'll place it at the edge of my bag this way, and I'll sew it down. I'll repeat the same thing. I'll flip it over like this, and I'll sew this side to this other side. So I'm going to turn it so that it will be easier for me. So I'll sew this one now to this part here. You can see how I am doing it. Then I'm going to sew it straight down. So I'll take my lining and I'm going to sew it to it. So before I fix the lining, I remember that the lining is the same thing with it's the same measurement with your main body. Okay, so I cut this material or fabric so I could use it to make pockets for it, and this is optional, it's not a must. So what I did is that this pocket is 16 inches, I guess, yes, 16 inches by 11 inches. I really want the inner pocket to be big, but you can decide to reduce yours if you want. Okay, now when I was done cutting it out this way, I'm going to place it exactly at the middle. Then from this top you can come down by 5 inches or probably 6 inches. Yes, let me put it at 6 inches. Then make sure that the pocket you want to impute is at the middle. Then this edge here, remember I fold it into two. I fold the material into two so that by the time I'll open it up, it will still be the same thing here. And this part here does not have any opening, like this bottom part now that can open. So this part is the folded part that I placed at the top area. Okay, so before I sew, I want to confirm my measurement to see that this edge here is probably the 6 inches. Yes, it is now 6 inches. So I will fold it in a little, then I will start sewing. Yes, so this is our pocket. You can see this is the pocket. Now you can decide to insert zip clothes and zip head if you want, so that you can be zipping it open and close, but I don't want that. So I'm going to sew at you can decide to sew at the middle, but for me I'm not going to sew directly at the middle. I will sew a little at the side, make it sided so that one side will be bigger to the other side. So this is one side of it and this is the other side. You can see that this side is smaller and this side is bigger. So now that we are done with this one, I'm going to bring the main body and I'm going to open it up. You can see I've opened it up, and normally it's supposed to be this way so that when you open it you'll be seeing the pocket. So what we are going to do right now is that we're going to place it right side to right side. We want to cover this seam that we have here. So I'm placing it right side to right side, and we are going to sew. So right now I am done sewing the lining to it, and you can see how it looks like, right? You can see it's that this part now is neat, and that is what we want. You can see the outside here. Now the next thing I want to do before I proceed, before I sew the lining to the other side, I want to sew the hands to it. Yes, I want to sew the hand. So before I will sew the hand, from this part that will have the zip, I will measure 10 inches down. That is because of the size of the bag. If you are making exactly this size, you can measure 10 inches down. But if you are making a smaller size, let me show you how you can know what to measure. You are going to place your tape at the middle of your side gusset this way. You know that this part is curved. It means that this part too, that is from here. Let me show you. Place it at the middle. Place your tape this way and get it to where you curved. This is 7 inches. And probably when you sew this one now from here, it's going to curve to that 7 inches. You are going to go down again to where you want the handle to be. Okay, so this one I added extra 3 inches to it. That is where the hand is going to pass through. Some persons can even still come down by probably 5 inches, but I don't want it that way. I make use of 10. So just measure your from your middle down to where you want the handle to be with your side gussets. Then that is what you are going to place on. That is what you are going to measure out. I'm going to place it at the 10 inches line this way, and I will sew it. I'm done sewing it. I'm going to cut it out. So now that I'm done cutting it, I'm going to get the middle. I'll get the middle this way, 22 inches, which means the middle is 11. So from this 11, from here to here is also 11. I'll divide 11 into 2 equal parts like this. Then I will place it. That I'll mark what I have here. I'll repeat the same thing to this side. That is where my hands are going to be. Now for the hand that we're going to be holding, I'm going to use 36 inches, or probably you can decide to just make it, just use what works for you. Place it. So these are the two pieces that I cut out, 38 inches. Remember, it depends on the size that you want to make, and I've shown you how your handle as well. So I will place it exactly at that line that I marked. You can see. So I will sew. So I'm just sewing this side, and this is it too. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And all right guys, so I am done sewing the handle to it. The next thing I'm going to do now is that I'm going to bring the lining to this other side to sew it. Now let me clear you, because I stopped halfway before. You can see how it is, how I placed it. Remember I told you is right side facing each other, since we have pockets on it. So you see, this is the rough edge of the side I've made. So this is the wrong side of the line, and this is the right side. So it is this right side, the right side of it. I continued it to this other side like this. Hope you understand. Then I'll just sew it just the way I did to the other side. That is what I'm going to do here all the way down. So I am done putting the sewing the line into it. Now I'm going to turn it inside out like this. I'm going to flip it to the other side. Hope you see. So now that I've turned it, I'm going to top stitch on it. Alright guys, so by now I am done top stitching on the both side, and I've held this end and the other end together so that the lining will not be moving down. So the next thing I'm going to do right now, the bag is almost ready, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do right now is to put or apply how am I going to speak English now? I want to put a piping here. This is what we call, is it piping? I think it's piping. It is called pipe. So that's what I'll be putting here right now. So alright guys, so I'm going to place this one at the middle, and I'm going to sew it round. I'll apply my machine oil while sewing. So I'm going to sew it round. So when I got to this part where I started sewing, I cut off the excess, and these two will be meeting each other. Make sure they are not overlapping each other. They'll just be meeting each other like this. So you take your belt, either wide or 1 inch, place it in between them like this, and further go ahead to flip it to the other side, then sew it. So right now, this is the main body that I'm done with, and this is the side, both sides. I'm done putting the cord, the pipe. You can see it. I've put it on the both sides. So before I proceed, the next thing I will do before I finalize making, before I will finish up the bag, I will measure it from the midpoint of this part. This is the middle. You can see where I notched. This is the midpoint. So from this midpoint, I'm going to measure it again. I'm going to measure it round. So right now I have 51 inches. 51 inches. I know that initially when we cut this, we have 56 inches, right? So right now I have 51 inches. So I'm going to 51 inches divided by 2 will give us what? 51. This is 51 here. I'll place my tape on it. 51 divided by 2 will give us 25 and half. 25 and half. This is it. So I will now fold the main body into 2. By this time I haven't put any zip head on it, so it is still in separate. So I'll fold this into 2 equal halves like this, making sure that it is equal. So from this part now, from this tip, I'll use my clips to hold it down so that it will not be shifting or moving around. All right, so I'm going to place my tape at the tip here. I'll place it at the tip and I'll measure the 25 and half inches. 25 and half. Hope you see what I have now. You will see that we have excess left. I'll take my marking pen, or you can use your chalk too, and I will mark it. I'll go to the other side and do the same thing. So right now you can see that from this tip to this tip to this point here, I have 25 and half inches. I did the same thing to the other side, and I now form a straight line. So this line that I formed, I'm going to sew it straight. I'm going to sew it straight and top stitch on it. So right now I am done with this bottom side. I cut off the excess allowance. So when you do that, you can use your bias tape to finish it up, or you can as well use your lining to finish it up. Now this is the other side of it, the bottom part. So because it is at the bottom part, they are not going to notice anything like that. Okay, so what you are going to do now is that you are going to bring this one and you are going to take this one as well. Place it, this part that you sew now is now serving as your middle, so you are going to place it at the middle of this one, and you are going to use your clip to hold it. I'm going to use my clips to hold it. Remember, middle to middle. Make sure it is middle to middle. I'm going to show you the end result when I am done holding it with clips. So guys, this is the zip head that I'm going to use. So before I proceed, I'm going to flip it this way. Please make sure you put your zip head before you clip your bag together, okay? Put your zip head before you clip your bags together. All right guys, so you can see that I'm done pinning the edge round at the both sides. So the bag looks like as if it's completed already. So what I'm going to do now, I'm not going to show you. Okay, let me just show you how I'm going to sew it. Decide to start sewing from any part of the edge. Okay, so I'm going to start sewing from the middle at the upper part. That is the side that has the zip closed. I'm going to start sewing from that part. All right guys, so I am done sewing the edges at the both sides. So I'm going to open it up to see if what I did corresponds at the edge, if I sew it properly. So if I didn't sew it well, that means I'm going to re-sew it again. But if I sew it well, it means that I'm just going to turn it back and pipe it. Okay, so whenever you make your travel bag, make sure to turn it to see your finishing, if it is good or not. Now let me show you the finishing I'm talking about. You see this part now, where we have the cord, you are going to look it, you are going to check it, if you sew it, if the sewing is okay or not. If there are some parts that you didn't sew, you are going to sew. But looking at it, I'll see that everything is okay. So I'm just going to turn it back and pipe it.